lazy, undisciplined, directionless. That's the accusation, but it tells us very little. Something deeper is at work, and psychology helps explain it. 1. The poverty premium. Being poor costs more. Your bank charges you $35 because your account dropped below the minimum. You can't buy in bulk at Costco because you don't have the upfront cash, so you pay more per unit at the corner store. You need a loan, but your credit is trash, so you're stuck with a 400% interest payday lender. You can't afford the $200 car repair, so you miss work, lose income, and the problem gets worse. The system is designed to extract more from people who have less. And your brain knows this, which makes every financial decision feel like a trap. 2. Time poverty. Research on working poverty shows that when you're juggling 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, you don't have time to escape. Can't take night classes to get a better degree. Can't job hunt during business hours. Can't meal prep to save money on food. Can't spend 3 hours researching better insurance rates. The wealthy use time as an investment. They spend hours finding deals, optimizing finances, building skills. You spend time just surviving. And the cruel part? Climbing out of poverty requires time you don't have because you're too busy being poor. 3. Scarcity mindset. Research on scarcity and cognitive function shows that when you're worried about money, your brain has less processing power for everything else. It's like running 10 apps on your phone. Everything slows down. Except in this case, the apps are, can I afford rent? And will my card decline? And what happens if my car breaks down? Your mental bandwidth gets eaten up by survival calculations. So when it's time to make a smart, long-term decision, your brain is already maxed out. You're not bad at planning. You're cognitively overloaded. 4. Survival first thinking. Research on decision-making under scarcity shows that when you're in survival mode, immediate needs override everything else. Not because you want them to, but because they have to. You know the cheap shoes will cost more long-term. You understand the math. But right now, you need shoes and you have $20. Your brain isn't choosing the short-term over long-term. It's doing the only math possible. $20 shoes you can afford today, or $100 shoes that might as well be $10,000. And here's where poverty locks you in. You can't think about building an emergency fund when you're currently in an emergency. You can't plan for next year when rent is due next week. Research on chronic stress shows that when immediate crises never stop coming, your brain stays locked in triage mode. You're not making poor choices. You're making the only choices available when tomorrow isn't guaranteed. 5. Mental accounting. Studies on behavioral economics show that people treat money differently based on where it came from. A tax refund feels like free money, even though it's literally your own paycheck you overpaid to the government. So you spend it differently than you'd spend your regular paycheck. You blow $1,000 on something you'd never buy with your salary because your brain filed it under bonus instead of bills. This happens to everyone, but when you're broke, it's the difference between catching up and falling further behind. 6. Risk paralysis. Studies on decision-making under scarcity show that when you can't afford to fail, you can't take the risks that build wealth. Can't leave your soul-crushing job for something better because what if it doesn't work out? Can't invest in education because what if you can't finish? Can't start a side business because one slow month means you're homeless. The wealthy take calculated risks knowing they have a safety net. You stay frozen because one wrong move ends you. So you stay where you are, not because you lack ambition, but because movement feels more dangerous than stagnation. 7. The knowledge network gap. Studies on social capital show that financial knowledge doesn't come from books. It comes from people. Wealthy families pass down tax strategies, investment basics, credit building at the dinner table. Your family couldn't teach what they never learned. And everyone in your circle is in the same boat. Nobody knows you're supposed to negotiate your salary, not just accept the first offer. Nobody taught you that paying extra toward principal saves you thousands in interest. Nobody has insider info on good jobs. Research on financial literacy shows the information exists, but it travels through networks you're not part of. You're not less intelligent. You're missing it because knowledge lives in rooms you're not invited into, and the people in your life don't have it either. 8. Financial identity. Social psychology research on self-concept shows that beliefs about yourself become self-reinforcing. If you've internalized the story that you're bad with money, you'll make decisions that confirm it. You'll avoid looking at your bank account because you already know it's bad. You'll skip financial planning because people like me don't do that. You'll accept that debt is just your reality, and every choice reinforces the identity. It's not that you can't manage money, it's that your brain is running a script you didn't write. Understanding the psychology doesn't erase the struggle, but it shifts the blame from character to circumstances. If this changed how you see poverty and money, hit like and subscribe as we explore the psychology behind everyday life.